Oh, this is also a great question. Thank you for these three fantastic questions. And maybe I forgot the latter two because they're really hard. Could that be what happened? Okay, so the third says, is it ethically appropriate to make opting out more expensive or more difficult in some circumstances? Okay, so maybe we want to make a distinction of several kinds, and I'm going to work toward them as I talk. So there are some cases where opting out should be really easy, where let's suppose you're automatically enrolled in double-sided printing. And the reason your computer, let's say at work or at school, is double-sided printing is the thought that that's going to save a little money and it's better for the environment. Great, hooray for that. But it might be that a lot of us, a lot of you, sometimes need single-sided printing. Maybe you're giving a presentation, for example, or maybe you need to read it in a way that is hurt if it's double-sided. So you need the single-sided. Okay, there's a good argument that that's the case. Make it really easy for people to opt out. I have an iPhone here. It has a lot of default settings. I can opt out of most of them, at least like that. And that's a good idea because the default rule is designed to capture what's best, but the person who designed it doesn't feel that strongly. It's more a guess and it's a matter of convenience. Okay, then there are other cases, let's say, this is my second category, where people's decisions are at risk of going wrong. That is, they may be impulsive or reckless. I did one of those things, which is I brought my dogs up here, and I'm going to have to excuse myself for about 30 seconds. I promise I'll be back very quickly because this is actually an illustration in real time of the answer to the second answer to the question. Be right back.
Not every undergraduate gets to see Cass Sunstein let his dogs out. I'm just letting you know.
Okay, thank you for that. And we are now canine free, which is sad in some ways, but for purposes of this discussion, it's a good thing. Suppose there are cases where if people opt out, on average, it's kind of impulsive or reckless, or at least in a number of cases, it's impulsive or reckless. Then you might want to make an opt out a little bit harder. And I'll give you a good case for this. I don't know how many of you have something called overdraft protection. So you go to the ATM, and if you don't have enough funds in there, you can get the money even if you don't have any money in your checking account. That's called overdraft protection. And what's good about it is that it's helpful if you don't have any money. What's not so good about it is that you're taking out a very high interest loan. You're typically required to pay a lot of interest on that. And so for people who don't quite know that or aren't thinking about the whole context, they're paying their banks a lot. And they might want instead, just not to use the ATM that day. Wait till their check comes in. Okay. People have been automatically enrolled in overdraft protection programs. Banks make a lot of money from it. And the Federal Reserve Board, thinking that's not very good for most people, said, banks, you can't do that. You have to enroll people, make people do it voluntarily. If they want to, they can, but you can't automatically enroll them. Okay, I think that's a good rule from the Fed. The problem is a lot of people are entering into these overdraft protection programs in circumstances in which it's really not in their interest. And they should be giving it a kind of sober second thought. They should be thinking long and hard before they do it. And that is a clue to the second category, which is for things like impulse purchases or opting out of a retirement plan that's really good, or waiving your legal rights, let's say, because you have what seems like a good offer. In those cases, to make opting out a little hard is a good idea. So first cases, think of the printer defaults. Second kind of cases, think of giving up your legal rights. And third kind of cases, think of cases where opting out actually endangers other people. And so it might be that the reason they make opting out a little hard is if you opt out, you might put your family and friends at risk. And those are good ideas for a little less libertarianism, a little more paternalism.